Yeah, I mean, it's been 16 days since the trade took place, and the emotions and the feelings are as raw now as they
Wow.
were when the trade happened, 2 weeks ago. Mavericks fans feel like they had a generational superstar ripped from them in the middle of the night without warning, and have not been able to really process the fact that 77 will no longer be a member of the Mavericks. I mean, you got to think about the fact that the Mavericks had Dirk Nowitzki for 21 years, played all
Sure.
21 years of his career in Dallas. It's very difficult in sports to have a natural bridge from one superstar to the next, and for that superstar that comes after the first one to be better than the one that preceded him. And that's exactly what the Mavericks had. Dirk Nowitzki even said it himself. He's like, yeah, Luka was better than me, even at the stage of the career that he was at, when I was playing. So that just gives you an idea of how much Dirk loves and respects him. I mean, you saw Dirk was there when Luka made his debut in Los Angeles, last week. That is how much he loves, Luka Doncic. I say that because Dirk and Luka had a bridge year together. They played together for a year. So not only do you have the bridge from one superstar to the next, but it's even rare when the superstars actually get to play together before the one that precedes them, moves on. So Mavericks fans were prepared for another 15 years of Luka Doncic in a Maverick uniform, and it felt like it was just at the very beginning. And to have that ripped away from them, and I call it the social contract that they had between player and fan base, be torn apart by an organization that really has just not handled this at all. And that's been the other part too, in terms of how the feelings continue to be very raw for Mavericks fans, is that the front office here in Dallas has not handled this particularly well at all, whether it be GM Nico Harrison, whether it be Mavericks Governor Patrick Dumont. The comments that they made in the wake of the trade has done nothing but anger fans even more, because it doesn't feel like they have an understanding of exactly what just happened here. And if they think they do, they have not conveyed that at all very well to Mavericks fans, who have not really felt this way about the organization in quite some time.
Yeah, I'm an outsider watching right now. Granted, the team that Luka ended up with is the team that I cover, and I grew up watching as a kid. And but I think it seems like it's completely a head scratcher when it first happened. All-Star weekend, I found myself, driving around, and Sirius XM, I got the NBA channel on. And of course, that every interview that they have, every person that they're talking to, they bring up the Luka trade, right? Luka and AD trade. And I couldn't really find one person that truly understood. Oscar Robertson, I think, said something that was a little interesting, where he just said that if Dallas is healthy, then that's going to be a really, really tough team to contend with. Everybody else, I don't really feel like still understands the justification of, the reasoning behind it. So nothing really new there. Let me just assume, and I know this is a very, very difficult assumption because it seems like half of your roster is not healthy right now. But the good thing is playoffs wouldn't start for a couple of months, so there's a little bit of time left here. Let's assume Gafford, Lively, AD, the rest of some of these other role players. Let's say by the time the first playoff game starts and they get a little bit of a runway before the playoffs start, what is that team when it's fully healthy?
It's one of the best defensive teams in the league. I mean, you look at the first half that the Mavericks played against the Rockets in Anthony Davis's debut. That is one of the more dominant defensive performances I've seen from this team in a long time. I mean, PJ Washington was getting after it. Daniel Gafford, obviously Anthony Davis setting the tone in the middle. Alperen Sengun wanted no parts of Anthony Davis in that first half because of the deterrent that he was at the rim. And the Mavericks that day, even with Anthony Davis getting hurt, they set a team record with 18 blocks in that game. And the length and the size and the versatility and athleticism that the Mavericks can have with all three of those guys, specifically Davis, Gafford, and Lively, and then on the perimeter with guys like PJ Washington, and when Caleb Martin comes back and others, this team defensively is going to be tough to contend with because they have so much length and size that they can present out there. And with AD playing at the 4 where he wants to play alongside Gafford, and Lively, it just makes him that much more versatile. So if they can get healthy and have a little bit of a runway to get themselves some rhythm going into the postseason, if they get there, yeah, we're talking about one of the best defensive teams in the league. It's going to be hard for teams to score points against him. Now, offensively, they're asking Kyrie Irving at 32 years old, 14 years in the league, who's been playing, 40 minutes every night over the last 5 games to carry this team offensively. And he saw against Golden State how he was able to do that with the 42 points, that he did. So it's going to be a lot to ask of Kyrie at this stage from an offensive standpoint, because he's got to be the primary scorer and creator as well. But if he can hold up and do that, yeah, this team can be extremely scary given the defense that they are going to play again, if they can get healthy, which is a major, major question of the final 26 games of the season for them.
Yeah, you're asking for everything to go perfect, and that doesn't
Yeah.
typically happen in sports. And I think for Dallas, there's such a magnifying glass on them because of everything that went down over the last 2.5 weeks or so. Is there a world that exists that Dallas was able to accomplish whatever it is that you can tell me, where Mavs fans say to themselves, you know what, that and by the way, that's with Luka having success with the Lakers. That's with Luka, because I could tell you this, and if you know the NBA, and I know you do, this is what's going to happen with Luka in LA. Luka in LA with the Lakers, that front office will accommodate anything he needs to try to be the next chapter of Los Angeles Lakers basketball, one of the legends. And, you know the history of the Lakers, and they'll probably find a way to have success doing it. And there will be another star that's out there in the league today that's saying to themselves, really interesting situation there in LA. I could play with Luka. I could play for the Lakers. I could be with that brand. It's great for marketing, everything else that comes with it. So I think from the Laker perspective, whatever's going to happen there, I think he's going to have tremendous success as a Laker. And I'm talking about from a team perspective, aside from just individually. Is there a world where something happens in Dallas where those Mavs fans would say, okay, yes, we're idiots for giving up a 25-year-old, but at the same time, this wasn't that bad either?
Anthony Davis would have to win 3 straight titles, 3 straight MVPs, 3 straight Defensive Player of the Years.
Oh man,
it has to be something we've never seen before to even think about justifying the trade that was made, because what Nico Harrison traded away was 10 to 12 years of runway with a superstar that did not want to leave, did not ask out, and by all accounts wanted to be in Dallas for a shorter window with a player who will be 32 years old next month, who has had an injury history throughout the course of his career. And on top of that, you've got that 32-year-old in Anthony Davis, soon to be. You got a 32-year-old in Kyrie Irving. And oh, by the way, Klay Thompson just turned 35 as well. So the amount of runway that you have cut off based off of what you feel like in terms of defense winning championships, I don't think a title would justify at all. Multiple titles would even justify what the Mavericks have done in this trade. That is how much this city and this fan base loved Luka Doncic, because the one title that Dirk Nowitzki earned in the 21 years here in Dallas means more to Mavericks fans than anything he could have ever done, because they saw the highs and the lows of him having to go through what he went through to win a title. And they were on the similar ride with Luka Doncic, having watched him grow from a rookie who was a rookie of the year to now taking a team to the NBA Finals, of being on the precipice of potentially doing that for the next 10 years in terms of that kind of success, and to trade that away for what maybe a title or two in the way that they have decided to do it. I don't think that'll ever be a true justification for Mavericks fans, no matter how much success Anthony Davis is. And I hate that for him. I hate that for Davis, because he is a Hall of Famer. Like Anthony Davis is a Hall of Famer and will be as soon as he retires. But unfortunately, the legacy that will follow him now is that he will forever be known, especially if Luka has the success that you guys believe that he will have. He will forever be known as the guy that was traded for Luka Doncic, as far as his career is concerned, especially if he doesn't win another title between now and by the time he retires, for sure.
Yeah, he's in a tough spot too. I mean, like you said, he played a half and went down. And whenever I know he's not having surgery, I know there's some optimism, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, some optimism that he'll be able to come back at some point. But
that's the hope. That's the
hope. But that's also the pressure that's going to be on his shoulders is that situation. Again, I think we all know, and I think most people understand that AD is a brilliant player. He's phenomenal, but he was traded for a 25-year-old that's probably top 3 in the league today, and we'll see where it goes from there. All right, thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.